nation that makes great distinction between its scholars and its warriors will have its thinking done by cowards and its fighting done by fools. This is a quote that has been used in modern times to encourage young men to focus on our physical health, especially those of us who work in white-collar professions. But equally, we mustn't forget to hone our intellect with the same amount of dedication. You see, being an intellectual man, it's not something that you're born into, and it's not a credential that you're awarded, nor does it have anything to do with how much money you have or your social status. It is something, however, that anyone can achieve, but not everyone does. Especially nowadays, when many of us have been imprisoned in an endless loop of short-form content, doom scrolling online, wasting several hours a day without any perceivable benefit. But the modern world is here whether we like it or not. So how do we eliminate distractions and focus on what matters? How can anyone become an intellectual man? Well, first, you need to know that, broadly speaking, there are 3 archetypes that an intellectual man falls into, based on where he is on his particular journey to enlightenment. The first archetype is the academic. The academic is the man at the beginning of his intellectual journey. He knows that he won't gain mastery overnight, so instead, he focuses on momentum. He starts developing his discipline. He's learning how to focus, how to study, how to eliminate distractions in a world that is built to steal your attention. He's fighting the battles that we're all familiar with: social media, procrastination, and self-doubt. He is typically easy to identify because the academic is often a man who's enrolled in an education program. Now, this could be traditional education like school, college, university, or interesting alternatives like Peterson Academy. Typically, but not always, but usually, he is somewhere between the ages of 18 and 30, and to him, knowledge is raw material, like clay. He gathers it broadly, could be science, history, literature, philosophy. At this point, he doesn't really know what will become important because he hasn't fully formed his identity yet. Some of what he gathers won't be useful right away, but that's okay. It's part of this early stage of the journey. Now, there are some pitfalls that the academic man needs to watch out for. You see, the academic man, he can be impatient, resulting in him drawing unfair comparisons between himself and men further along in their journey. He might sometimes feel like he's falling behind, but remember that quote that I mentioned in a previous video: compare yourself with who you were yesterday, not with who someone else is today. Now, he might also fall into a different pitfall, more of the opposite. He mistakes his breadth of knowledge for depth, okay? And he becomes somewhat incorrectly and inappropriately arrogant. So what does the wardrobe of an academic man look like? Well, it reflects this stage in his life. It's simple, it's functional, it's modest. Think t-shirt and jeans, maybe a polo shirt, a hoodie, or maybe a button-down Oxford shirt on a good day. He doesn't fully appreciate just yet that how he presents himself affects how people treat him. So it might sometimes feel like he's fighting an uphill battle in which people constantly underestimate him despite his growing knowledge. And this is something I see in a whole bunch of students, particularly high school students, but you do see it in university and college students as well. There's a little bit of naivety in that, people will see their inner beauty, their inner intellect, but we all know that's not how the world works. People use shortcuts in their minds, heuristics, to judge, okay? We actually do judge books by their cover. So this is something the academic man doesn't fully appreciate yet, but he will. What are the values of the academic man? Well, above all, the academic man values opportunities to grow, to develop his knowledge, and usually his transformation into the next archetype begins when he meets a mentor, someone who can guide him along the path, someone who has experienced the same struggles that he has and has overcome them, and someone who knows the hurdles that he's going to face shortly in the near future. Archetype number 2, the intellectual. The intellectual man is the one who has successfully fused both knowledge with experience, and he has the confidence in his abilities and the charisma to express them, something that the academic man was lacking. You see, the intellectual man is considered as an expert by all. usually in a single but sometimes multiple domains. His routines are sharper, more intentional, because he has defeated the distractions that the academic was struggling with: procrastination, social media, insecurity. Now he is committed to deep work, and that could be reading deeply or training his body with purpose. You see, the intellectual man sees his mind and his body as long-term projects that cannot be ignored. Instead, he sharpens them, both, until he becomes truly dangerous. So what does an intellectual man look like? Well, because he is now street smart as well as book smart, he's no longer naive. He knows how to dress with purpose to get the outcomes that he wants. He knows that these things actually matter. He naturally gravitates towards sports jackets and well-tailored trousers. He understands the strength, but also the limitations of fabrics like cotton and wool, and he knows how to adhere to dress codes, even unspoken ones. And for formal occasions, he can easily put together an outfit that includes the suit, the tie, and the pocket square. And he pays attention to details like the type of tie knot and the colours, how they complement each other. And because of this, no one mistakes him for a boy or a student anymore. He is unmistakably a man. Now, the most important thing that the intellectual man must guard himself against is the Luciferian-style arrogance that can grow inside of him. This feeling that being right is more important than doing the right thing, that intellect is more important than morality, or even that those two are the same thing. They're not. Now, we might more colloquially call this arrogance or a complete lack of humility. So that is what the intellectual man must focus on. He must always stay humble and seek substance over status. And one of the best ways to do this is to cultivate positive influences in your social life. That could be your friends, your family, or your spouse. You need someone who will tell you the truth about yourself or how you're acting, even if it's not what you want to hear. Often I think this is one of the most tragic things that happens to celebrities, is that they lose that person. They either lose them or they remove these kinds of people from their lives until they're surrounded by yes men, which ultimately results in them doing things that we see on social media, things that are unbelievably tone deaf, to the point where you wonder how they could ever have thought it was a good idea, because they're surrounded by people who are enabling them. So the intellectual man needs someone to balance him and to bring him to attention when he goes off the rails. Now, the intellectual man values both discipline and humility, because those are his map and his compass that will lead him in time to the final archetype. Archetype number 3, the scholar. So the scholar is the final evolution. The man who has lived long enough, failed enough, learned enough, and reflected enough to turn intelligence into the final product, wisdom. He no longer needs to prove anything, and that is exactly why people listen when he speaks. His confidence is quiet, but his presence is unmistakable. He doesn't perform discipline anymore, he embodies it. Years of habits like reading, training, thinking, and choosing the hard path have fused into his identity. To him, skipping a workout or a chapter of reading would feel like skipping brushing his teeth. It's not just a routine, it's a part of who he is. Other people naturally gravitate toward him. When people hit crossroads in their lives, setbacks or crises, they seek out the scholar, because he carries something that the academic and the intellectual are still developing, a more refined perspective on life. Now, the scholar has his own pitfall that he can fall into. As he gets older and as fewer people share his depth of experience, he may start to feel separate from the world around him. And it can be tempting to withdraw, but the scholar's purpose, the thing that gives this archetype its meaning, is connection. You see, the role of the scholar is to guide the academic man and the intellectual man, the ones who are behind him on that journey, to pass on the hard-earned lessons, to help others dodge the mistakes that nearly broke him. This is where he finds legacy, and with it, fulfillment. Folks, thank you very much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below. I want to hear from you. Which archetype do you most identify with, or is there a particular archetype that you're aiming to become? Let me know down in the comments below, and I look forward to discussing that with you. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.